Alright, so let's talk about Jack Move. This game is a JRPG set in a cyberpunk world. It's only $20. Is it long enough to be a good game? Is it quality enough to be worth your time? Let's talk about it. So, before we jump on in, the game was developed by Soul Romantic and published by Hype Train Digital. As mentioned, JRPG, story-rich, 2D, hacking, dystopian, single-player only. There's a couple of other tags here, such as anime. It says party-based RPG. That is not correct in there. So yeah, cyberpunk, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go over the story, a bit of the gameplay, and then I'm gonna let you know my pros and cons and my final thoughts about it. So the story goes like this: set around 1,000 years, like in early 3000s. The world is post-dark, meaning something happened. They don't really go into it, but something happened in the great cyber war. Everything is dystopian and cyberpunkish and weird now, and things that we know today, such as basic computers and even things like tanks, they are very primitive. So that's the story. You play as a character named Noah with her partner Ryder, and you guys are a hacker team. The game starts in a nice fun tutorial with you going through and trying to steal some things. It's just you two, and it's not that long of a game. I will say now, you can probably finish the game 4 hours if you rush it, 5 hours if you want to spend some time running around and leveling up. But yes, that's the main story. What happens is you get contacted by your father, who you have not seen in many years. He tells you, hey, this company is trying to steal my research. You hang up on him, but then you end up getting ambushed by the corporation, and then you end up entwined in this little sort of ruse, this big conspiracy of what they were trying to steal and going down to stop it. So without spoiling anything, that is the premise of the game. Futuristic, trying to figure out what happened to your parents and just stopping the bad guys. That's it. Now, time for the gameplay. There's only a couple of things worth mentioning here. Basically, it's a JRPG. You're going to be running around lots of different maps, talking to NPCs, purchasing things from stores A to B, to talk to people to, start quests. And then you're going to have lots of areas in the game where you're going to be fighting enemies. Now, these are randomly generated events. Like it is, you play Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, you run around the map that is dangerous, and then after a little bit, it just, goes to another screen, and then you fight. In this game, it is just you, just Noah, no other people, single player only. So you are fighting using a really advanced cyber deck here, which allows you to do lots of different moves. The game's lingo is very computer science tech, right? So instead of using fire attacks, water attacks, earth attacks, in this game, it's the same deal, but it's just different colors. You have lightning, you have memory attacks, and all that stuff. But it's basically the rock, paper, scissors things. So it's you move, they move based on your initiative. You can buy lots of different spells to get, poison on them. You can increase your own movement speed. So it's got your basic JRPG stuff where you could pick a build and then you can customize your character. Now, after you kill enemies, you get money to buy consumables and more equipment, and you also get levels. Levels just increase your stats. Now, in this game, you can choose your spells, and it's kind of cool because the more you use a certain spell, you level it up, so it's more stronger in future battles. In this game, to switch out your skills, it's called hardware and software. Hardware is a chip you put in, which gives you, a lot of passive abilities. Some let you start off with certain skills, some give you counter attacks and stuff like that. Then you have the software. You have to spend money in the game to increase your overall RAM. Each spell in the game, costs a certain amount of RAM. So you got fire moves, water moves, etc., healing moves. You have to, and they cost certain RAM, so you have to plan out your moves and put it in. Luckily, if you are caught in a battle where you have really disadvantageous moves because the enemy, let's say, is strong against the purple attacks, strong against the green attacks, you can spend a turn in game to reorder your software. So oh, I want to get rid of my heal, I'm not going to need it, but let me put in this debuff for the enemy. You can switch it out like that. You also have access to a defense so you can just block attacks when you think enemies are going to do something crazy. And then you have access to the game's name, Jack Move. This is pretty much your ultimates. Throughout the game, you're going to be getting different ones, and basically you have to do a little tiny mini game where you press, up, down, left, right in a particular sequence in a particular timing to pull off an ultimate, and this does a lot of elemental damage to characters. And that's pretty much the game. You're going to be doing lots of little tiny quests, going through the motions of the, there isn't that many, there's no side quests in the game. It's just go here, do that, a lot of treasure chests to pick up, not really any puzzles in the game. There's only like 1 or 2 mini puzzles. They are not puzzles at all, so this game is pretty straightforward. Walk over here, kill things, walk over there, kill things. And the story, it's pretty basic for something that is 4 hours. It feels like something that could potentially be like an anime movie, if that makes sense. Like the whole plot of how like concise it is and how quick it is, it could be something like that. So that's pretty much the game. What do I think about it? I think for the price of $19.99, it is a very, very fun experience. Because it's JRPG, I went in expecting maybe something around 8 hours, but towards the end, I'm kind of glad it ended where it did. First of all, it dragged on for sure. So it was very fun at the beginning because you're pretty strategic. I'm gonna block during this, blah blah. I'm gonna switch out moves. Later on, it gets like insane. You're just AoEing whole groups of enemies, not worrying too much about what they're going to do to you. And some bosses later on, they're fun to fight. Really, really good animations. However, I think something went wrong in either the playtesting towards the very end of the game, because enemies, especially bosses, are really bloated in HP, and it's not fun to fight them. It's not that it's difficult. I got through the whole game without dying. It's just like each boss only has a certain number of different moves they do, and once you are able to, not worry about dying, you're just 5-10 minutes of doing the same thing over and over again. You're not really ever running out of consumables as long as you pay attention. If you've played a JRPG before, you're not going to have problems with the game. It's a very medium experience, not difficult at all. In fact, they even give you some accessibility options. You have the option to turn up, turn down, or completely turn off enemy encounters. This is so you can grind if you want in certain areas. You can just lower it down or even turn it off if you want to run past the areas you've been to, which I did a couple times. I made use of it so I can grind some money. I made use of it so I can make sure I was the right level to equip certain things. But overall, the music of the game is great. I love how short and sweet it is, even though it is JRPG. But the biggest thing here is the art style. It is high pixel for sure, but the animations of Noah, the enemies, the different looks in the environment, it is probably one of the best selling points here. It's a cool game. I would have, even though it did end, I wouldn't have mind if it did. If it was an 8 to 12 hour game, or maybe they could make a sequel, but they just gotta touch up with the boss battles. If they're gonna be as long as they are, they gotta make them a bit more engaging, not too easy. It got really like, hurry up, get to the end. But once we did, we got to the end, and I love this. So Jack Move, absolutely worth your time and money if you aren't the JRPGs. And yeah, it's short, so support these indie devs. Really, really cool. I'm not sure if this is on any of the console. I played it on Steam PC, but it's absolutely full control support, etc. Really good game. I didn't look at any of the reviews, but on Steam it's very positive right now, so that is wonderful. So that's it. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like. It helps a lot. If you haven't already subscribed for daily videos, if you're interested, I'm uploading the full playthrough on this channel in 3 different parts, so make sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.